Good evening, Musky enjoyers. I hope you're doing alright, because it's time for the 48-hour analysis. Yes, just 2 days ago, all of these skins rotated into Rustor, and we're going to go ahead and try and figure out, are they still holding up to being perfectly fine investments, or are there any potential problems we need to be aware of? So, straight off the bat, if you saw the likes of my Rustor rotation video and the predictions video, I wasn't exactly super enthusiastic with this week. However, based on the selection of skins, I'm not too surprised for what it is. If you are fully well aware, usually at the very end of a month, Facepunch tends to pick some skins from skin creators who don't normally get that many, selections, and it tends to be a little bit experimental. So please be aware, with next week we are going to have the February 4 swipe, February 1st. Yes, we're expecting quite a lot of people turning up and wanting to play the game out of curiosity. Next week we're seeing the likes of backpacks being introduced, so even more inventory space. I wonder how that's potentially going to play out. And of course you've got the goofy little things such as the metal detector, and we also have the very interesting looking Lunar New Year items being introduced, but that's just going to be cosmetic anyway. So out of curiosity, quite a lot of people will be wanting to take a look, and 4 swipe, loads of people enjoy that, so loads of people will be hopping in as per usual. So a lot more people are expected to be playing next week, and when you make a little comparison for what we just literally had with this weekend, it hasn't been like super crazy. No. So the intuition, the idea is maybe next week we're going to have a lovely batch of insane picks, some very interesting looking collection continuations and whatnot. So once again, for all the people who are a little bit unsure about this week, just be aware, this feels fairly pattern behaviour. Let's wait and see what happens next week. And you know what, don't forget, with what we just literally had the week before, I mean, that was a pretty interesting roster with a lot of very interesting collection continuations. We can probably put our hands up and say, okay, you know what, it's a bit of a breather. A calm before the storm, if you wish. You get the idea, I'm sure. So anyway, what we're looking at, this is a tweet. After 24 hours with every brand new Rustor, I'll take a screenshot from all the sales from what we see on SMGnana.app, and I will put it on Twitter. So feel free to look at the description of my video right now, and you'll see the links to all my socials. Feel free to go take a look at all of them, notably my Twitter. Because yeah, I was very surprised to see that likes of the polished Obsidian did 8,700 sales. Now, fair play, that's cool. But I've always kind of run with this this trend. There's always going to be at least one skin that always sells very nicely. That usually tends to happen, and well, polished Obsidian was the one. Now, when I looked at it, I kind of thought, are people really going to care about this? Apparently they do, yeah. Who would have guessed? So yeah, that did very nice in terms of its sales. And if we were to compare to the previous week, where we had the very cool looking skins and whatnot, with the notable collection continuations and whatnot, well, that polished Obsidian did almost as many sales as the road sign kilt from the previous week, which is pretty interesting. Based on this, would definitely have been having a lot more investment behind it, a lot of support behind it, which shouldn't be too hard to comprehend. I mean, it even beat out the likes of the Chameleon Sap and the Redemption Revolver, so damn. So that worked out very nicely for it, didn't it? So yeah, maybe we are going to see some interesting looking sales by the end of the week. Maybe, we shall see. But well, I'm still not fully optimistic these skins are going to be doing insane in terms of retaining their value. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the skins right now. So it is a good few hours after the likes of 48 hours, so it's about 50-ish, but you can still see how things are fairly okay in terms of their sales. So shall we just jump in, take a look at all the skins, and then afterwards figure out, or guess how many sales they might have by Thursday. And yeah, then we'll start, taking a look at the past from previous Rust stores and just talk about the Rust economy as a whole. So let's jump in. Let's start talking about the likes of the polished Obsidian. So this has done almost 14,000 sales after just over 2 days. I kind of messed up the words there. Don't worry. So yeah, after just over 2 days, God, I can speak English, I'm sure I can, we can see that that's doing very nicely, which again, to my surprise, for something that's fairly featureless to a point, again, I don't mean to hate, but it's just a very shiny black rock. Now, okay, maybe some people feel compelled to want to buy something from this week. Maybe they just happen to like a nice shiny rock. I'm not going to, complain. But how likely is that going to retain its value? So there is a bit of awkwardness, because when I look back at the many other rocks that we've had over the past year or so, so many of them were just pet rocks. Yeah. So if you can recall, literally most of last year, except they're from Hell Rock, it was all animals. Yeah. So you got a pug rock, you got a crab rock, you got a hamster rock, you got a capybara rock, you got a frog rock, and of course rock from hell. But the very awkward thing is, this looked really cool, part of a well-established collection, sold for $4.49. Now it sells for $1.50. What? Yeah. So maybe a lot of people will attribute the fact that that's glow in the dark and say, yeah, I don't think that's going to be very good. It's pay to lose. So that's probably doing very badly at the moment because of that. Okay, fair enough. But when you go down a little bit further, you might notice that quite a lot of these older rocks, yeah, they don't really seem to be doing very well. Yeah, quite a lot of them. Now, as you can see here, the much more older ones, that's a little bit different. They seem to be doing quite all right. But I'm sure I get the point across where it's not looking like this brand new polished Obsidian is going to be doing amazing. I don't think it's going to be doing a decent job in retaining its value. I probably will be wrong, but I can't help but feel like whilst that's something very nice for the moment, I don't think people are going to be clamouring and going back for it and going crazy. Maybe with all the recent legacy Kevlar skins that we've had, people feel compelled to constantly keep buying black skins. Whatever. No, guys, it's not Legacy Kevlar. You're being tricked. Don't worry. But that was supposed to be a Blackstone skin. If you don't remember, a good few weeks ago, we had the Blackstone AK-47. The people that made it, that being Nolfoot and Jimmy Tedeschi, well, this was supposed to be Blackstone, and of course, it was supposed to be in reference to what we've already had. That was supposed to be part of a collection. Facepunch probably didn't realise and just kind of made it its own thing. Oh well, that kind of happened, I guess. So we could have had a collection there, but I guess those guys have now missed out because of that. They did switch around who was the main guy, so maybe that kind of messed things up a bit. But at the end of the day, they've got a new skin on sale, so I don't think they're complaining. Anyway, so with what we have here, and with what we just saw in the past, where's that likely going to end up at, and where's it likely going to end up based on, its price? So that's a, normal $2 skin, $1.99 for all weapons and tools by default. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like by default. If we don't feel super confident in something, well, yeah, most notably if it's a weapon or tool, you can always just offer $1, because if it ends up, not holding up very nicely, at the very least, you can always just turn it into metal and then sell the metal. So, if you want to play extra safe, you do 70 cents, 90 cents buy order, don't you? But with what I see here and the interest it has, I don't know. It might actually do quite all right in terms of keeping its value for a fair bit, but how high will it stay up, and how many more rocks might we get this year? Because, with last year, we did get quite a lot. Don't forget, keep an eye out for all the Twitch drops as well. So we've got Twitch drop there, and if you look for the previous years, we've had Twitch drops as well, here and here and here. So you never know. But we did get quite a lot last year. So I can't rule out the possibility that we might see even more. I mean, it's not too hard to grasp, is it? But, yeah. Will that just kind of instantly lose interest when another one appears? Maybe we get a shiny blue one or a red one or something. I'm joking, but you get the idea. So overall, in terms of what I see here, I think I will be just sticking with doing a buy order. It's not too hard to grasp based on how I've been talking about it. But in terms of sales where this might end up at, it might actually do over 20,000. Yeah, it probably will. I wouldn't be surprised. So we're just going to leave it for now. But I will stick with my point that I probably am not going to go super crazy on this. I will be playing it safe because I just can't trust other people at the moment. Yep, so I'm going to move on. Let's talk about the likes of the First Contact Garage Door. So this has done just over 11,000 sales already. So this has surpassed the likes of that Pirate Garage Door that we had not too long ago. Let me just show that off. Yep. So unfortunately, that's now going down. But a lot of Rust skins are going down at the moment, so we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But yeah, this was part of a somewhat established collection. After a week, only did that many sales, but let's not forget, during the same week that was out, we also had this out as a Twitch drop, and that was a very cool looking. That was a very cool looking Twitch drop to have. So referencing one of the best videos ever produced out of Rust. Anyway. With the likes of this First Contact Garage Door, I see no issues wrong with it. I don't see any potential problems with it. It's just, it's very straightforward. But it turns out people really do appreciate straightforward neon designs. I'm not joking. I've showed it off before and I'll show it again. So we've had this discussion before. When I first saw that, I had to question it a lot because it was, it's very colourful, very in your face in terms of how much neon designs it had. But referencing back to the past, what did we actually see? I did mention the likes of that, but it's a Christmas-themed skin, so we can't really, relate to it. But if you keep going further down, you got the likes of the Tiger Garage Door. You scroll down a little bit more, you got the likes of the Going Deep Garage Door. You got the Disco Club. Now, that was doing better before, but the point I'm trying to get across is straightforward neon designs tend to do pretty all right in terms of retaining their value. They tend to do a decent job in keeping people's interest. So as I scroll up a little bit more, you got to ask yourself, out of like everyone that plays Rust, how many like aliens and stuff? I can't really answer that. It's a bit goofy to ask, but I just don't know. Now, from what you can see here, again, it's very straightforward. Clearly glows in the dark, as you should know. But I feel like I am just going to stick with doing a barter on that one as well. Personally, you know, as I say, as I'm looking at all of these skins with a financial perspective, by all means, if you happen to like a skin, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creators, keep them motivated, keep wanting to put out very nice skins in the future. But in terms of, am I going to want to pick up a bunch of these? I mean, I wouldn't say no, but it'll definitely be worth a buy order. That'll be my answer. So how many sales might that end up with? Probably about just, maybe about 17,000, I reckon. Something like that. Wouldn't be too surprising. Maybe it gets an extra bit of a push, but I don't think so. Garage doors are very questionable because with what we've seen over the past 2 years, I can't help but feel like we're going to be seeing so much more and so much more of them being Twitch drops as well. So yeah, it's going to have quite a lot of competition, unfortunately. And, well, we can't really tell what's coming out yet because we can't predict the future, can we? So with the likes of that, I am still going to want to stick with doing the likes of a buy order. But it's selling okay, and I'm very happy for that. Good job, Mr. Sad Happy. Your first ever skin to be accepted, and it's doing quite all right. Second best-selling skin of the week so far. Keep up the good work. Now, you never know. Could he potentially want to turn it into the likes of a deplorable collection? Now, again, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The more deplorables we see, the more we'll see interest in likes of the pre-existing deplorable skins, and we will see improvements. But that's a big if. So we'll find out. It sold nicely. I'm pretty sure Face Punch acknowledges that, and I'm pretty sure Sad Happy does as well. Now, have people asked? That's the question. Have people actually asked them? Right, as I scroll down, double sheet metal door. Loads of people want double sheet metal doors. Loads of people want double sheet metal doors. I wonder why. Oh no, that seems to have spread around now. If you don't fully know, double sheet metal doors are like the best investments. We hardly ever see any of them being accepted. Is it sheet metal double door? Oh god. Sheet metal double door. Every single one is in the positive. But I will sit here and say, oh no, I did the wrong one. Sheet metal double door. I can't. Yeah. See, a lot of people fail to realise when a brand new skin like this comes out, it instantly goes down in price real quickly, and you might sit there and say, why? Because, you know, with the initial listings, there's a lot of them that appear, and it struggles for a bit. That did happen with the likes of that deep sea double door. So, if you can remember, for quite some time, this wasn't doing super crazy, but gradually as we led up to the end of this year, or, you know, what was the end of 2023, it did go up a fair bit, and, well, it's starting to go back down again, so, yeah, that was nice. But that is the cheapest one, and, of course, that's still in the positive ever so nicely, so I would welcome another double sheet metal door. It's up to you, Sad Happy. But, you know, the likes of maybe a cool-looking furnace, regular sheet metal door, armoured door, you know, storages, go for it, mate. It's all there in front of you. And if you need help, just ask around. Shouldn't be too bad, should it? Okay, cool. So that's a nice thing to be optimistic about, but we have to wait and see. You have to keep an eye on the workshop. So keep an eye out. That's all you can really do, I'm afraid. Right, moving on. We have the Cyber Tier 3 set. Initially, I was a bit questionable for this. I thought that, you know, with it being referenced in the Cybertruck and whatnot, maybe that might have some problems, but it got accepted, so okay, fair enough, cool. But where do we go from here? Now, by default, again, it doesn't matter. If we do see the likes of Tier 2 or Hoodie and Pants being accepted at some point in the future, yeah, we're still going to see it spike in demand, spike in price. That happened with the Desert Beast, but when we talk about that, I want to show you something. So people are asking him, and yes, it looks like Lecramp will be continuing this. There will be some more pieces. We have to keep an eye on the workshop then, don't we? But I do bring up my point again, where we've had a lot of metallic sets very recently, or at least over the past year. So, as you can see, it's not super colourful. It's not, like, crazy. But for what it is, you know, I like the hard edges and whatnot. That's a pretty cool looking style. I will give good respect to that. But, again, what's the overall consensus? What do everybody else think? And based on what I've seen in the past with these metallic sets, they don't seem to do a very good job in retaining interest and, of course, retaining values. So hard suit, unfortunately, down pretty bad. Scroll up a little bit more. High quality metal face mask, unfortunately, down pretty bad. Scroll up a little bit more. We saw the likes of Damascus coming out pretty recently, yeah, within the past 2 months, down pretty bad. And now we have this. Do you not realise the potential problem? Yeah. Now, it doesn't matter if we do, see the likes of continuations being produced and, of course, being accepted. Now, you might sit there and say, oh yeah, surely that's going to happen. There are no guarantees. We have seen instances of the past where we've seen potentially the brand new beginning of a new set to look forward to, whether it's the likes of starting off with the Hoodie and pants, or the Tier 3, or the Tier 2. We've seen a core piece being accepted and then no other pieces appear afterwards. Do you remember the likes of Banana Collection not too long ago? I mean, we'll be talking about that in a second, but we can quickly show this to you. Remember the Banana Collection? Remember how we randomly got Tier 2 and then nothing afterwards? Point made? So yes, don't assume that would never happen. It does happen, and it very likely could happen again. So you got to really think about what you're doing next, okay? But, yeah. I'm definitely just going to be sticking with a buy order. I'm doing it for all of that. Every single skin here, I will be sticking with a buy order. And honestly, that's what I'm going to be pretty much doing for the rest of this year. I don't want to really buy things straight anymore, especially in terms of investing in them. All right, big difference between buying a skin to use it and enjoy it and buying a skin hoping to try and flip it for a decent profit in the future. So, yeah. Just understand the difference. So, yeah, we're going to have to figure out what prices we want to offer when we look at this on Wednesday night, because both of these are abnormal, so keep that in mind, and let's move on. Okay, Desert Beast. So when we saw Desert Beast Hoodie and Pants appearing, we did see the likes of the Tier 3 Spike and Spike and Price. There we go. But there was a bit of a problem. It didn't hold. Desert Beast Tier 3 went back down again pretty quickly. Yep, it came and done. Yep, that happened. So, yeah, unfortunately, this very likely could be happening quite a lot this year. Come on, load up. There we go, thank you. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's back down again. It did not last. It was around for a little bit, and then suddenly it wasn't around anymore. So, if you aren't fully well aware, this is what happened. That. So, it was not really doing much. Oh, look, a continuation appeared. Spiked in price, doubled in price, cool. And then after a good few hours, back down again. So, I'm very unfortunate, but yeah, that didn't even last that long. I didn't even manage to... I only sold 2. I sold 2. Oh, dear. So, I have to be extra careful, even more and more careful from here on now, because sets like these just instantly lose interest. It's very sad and it's very unfortunate. I've never seen Rust in such a state before. So, yeah. Okay, that's not looking good. And what do we now expect of this? Well, based on the amount of sales it's having, I feel like that's definitely going to be selling a lot less compared to this. Maybe it might only do about 10,000. Is that still reasonable for these two? Potentially. But that would mean these two are likely going to suffer for a very long time because there's an excess amount of these compared to this. Awkward. And hey, do you remember when these first came out, the burlap shirt and pants? They're comfortably in the positive now. That's very nice to see, isn't it? But we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on these. So, yeah. Dark brown set doesn't exactly do amazing in the desert area, at least in the sandy bits and whatnot, because you would still stand out a fair bit. But I did come up with that speculative point that we are getting a new biome later this year. Some people have brought up the idea that maybe the ash colours and whatnot might be black or grey. Fair enough, I'm not going to say no, that very likely could be a thing. But it can be dark brown as well, I am fully well aware of that. And again, we don't know anything until we see it, until it's revealed to us. And that's probably going to happen at some point in the summer, I reckon. So overall, Desert Beast Hoodie and Pants, not feeling very optimistic for it now. Again, if we were to see the Tier 2 armor appear, will that spike in demand, spike in price? It will. But it probably won't last very long, much like what we saw with these two. That is very questionable for this set. So, very unfortunately, Desert Beast Hoodie and Pants have kind of lost its intrigue. Yeah, well, it's lost my intrigue, unfortunately, because now I worry for it, and I don't want to worry about putting money towards the skin. That's not a very good investment then, is it? Nope. So, awkward, but yeah, keep an eye on the sales. If they are less than the tier 3, it might actually do it might do good, but again, smart buy order is the way to go. Those skins aren't abnormal either, so that's another questionable thing that we have to keep an eye on. Anyway, let's now talk about the likes of the bad news AR. So, with the likes of this AK-47, it's not exactly selling crazily, and again, not too surprised. How many people just recently bought the likes of that charity AK-47? Yeah, that wasn't cheap, was it? It wasn't cheap. So, yeah, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if many of the AKs that appear within the next month or so probably won't be retaining their value purely based on the idea that, well, maybe loads of people just bought this and that's all they care for at the moment. But eventually we're probably going to see some very cool looking AKs coming out from notable collections, so just keep an eye out for it. But yeah, unfortunately, bad news AR, this isn't a great position for it to be in. Sold quite a bit, so, you know, good job there, Mr. PYH, but yeah, I just don't think everybody's appreciating the design that you put out, which, okay, fine. But we don't know what's potentially coming out next. We'll see what Mr. PYH is going to do about that. But regardless, that's fine. Actually, does it consider you getting your first ever skin accepted? Let's find out. No, because you did those individually. Yep. I remember now. Yep. He's been teaming with Debsky for a very long time. So, yeah, they collaborate with each other to make bananas. Anyway, so bad news AR. Unfortunately, there will be another AK accepted next week or the week after that 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 or the week after that. There's going to be another AK. And there's always going to be another AK. And then there's going to be another one after that and after that. And people aren't loyal to their AKs. There will always be another one. So, unfortunately, does that stand out like super well? Not really, unfortunately. It's not like a big bright pink one like the Kiss AR from last year. So, yeah, unfortunately, that is probably not going to be holding its value. And we might want to stick with doing a global buy order. But, you know, by all means, if you happen to like the design and whatnot, show your support to the skin creator, consider buying it, keep them motivated to keep putting out very nice, interesting skins in the future. Cool. Let's move on. Skullforce SAR. It's kind of the same thing as the AK. SAR skins not doing super good. And we literally just had the Hedge SAR given to us for free and the Crowley SAR. Now, if you aren't fully well aware, if you know about the likes of the Imp SAR and whatnot, this has like the exact same style of aim sight. Very useful. And a lot of people picked this up, 90,000 apparently. I'm pretty sure there's even more than that. But anyway, point I'm trying to get across is bad timing again. So even with the likes of the Pirate SAR that came out recently, part of a well-established collection, down 41%. This is a brand new skin, and we'll give it a quick look. And as you can see, it's not exactly super crazy. I like the design, the patterns that are put on the side here. I will give good respect with regards to that. However, in terms of will everybody else, I don't think so, unfortunately. And when you take a look at all the SARs, again, how many of them are in the positive that came out within the past year or so? Not many whatsoever. So the point is, unfortunately, I don't imagine that's going to be doing a good job of retaining its value. And yeah, that's probably not going to be a good thing to chase after. But a smart buy order always works out well. So it's awkward. My apologies, but we've got to move on. SMGnana. Right, it's custom. We recently just talked about this. We had the Chameleon custom SMG, didn't we? And that's a well-established collection. People appreciate that collection. It's down 49%. Oh, God. Well, do you understand now? Do you see? Yeah, unfortunately, it's the gun itself. It's gun demand. If people aren't actively chasing after to use the likes of the gun, where's the demand to use the skins? Do you get the idea? So, unfortunately, that SMGnana very likely will be going down to $1. I'm very sorry to say it, but that wouldn't be too surprising. But also acknowledge the amount of sales it's currently got. It might not sell that much, and then, you know, as time goes on, that very likely could get manipulated. Now, I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying keep an eye on things like this. Throughout all of last year, during the early rush stores, the lowest selling skins kept getting, well, completely cleaned out from the third-party sites and the Steam market, and suddenly they appear to be selling for like $10 plus. They were manipulated by a group of people. So keep an eye on things like this, and we'll talk more about that Wednesday when we, of course, do our abnormal buy orders. Do not forget, we have the likes of a polished Obsidian, First Contact Garage Door, and we have the Tier 3 Cyber set right there. Yep, those 4 skins are abnormal, but all of these other ones down here, they are not abnormal. But we'll still, you know, consider prices and whatnot. Because, of course, on Thursday, The roster will rotate and these skins will become marketable, and we still need to figure out prices we might want to offer them. But we need to see how many sales they've had by Wednesday to get a good idea of what might potentially be a good price to offer. Cool. Right. So we just quickly talked about all the skins. We should now quickly kind of figure out how many sales they might have. Again, this is an estimate, no guarantees, because, well, I'm not a soothsayer. I can't predict the future. I can try my best. That's what I do try to do. But, yeah, logical sense doesn't always seem to work with the likes of Rust picks. Moving on, right, Polished Obsidian, so I kind of wouldn't be surprised if that does about 20,000 sales. Might surpass it by a fair bit, but I do worry still in regards to the rock skin. Will it actually retain its value? I still question, probably not. First Contact Garage Door, my answer to this is, as I think it's going to probably do around maybe 16 to 17,000 sales, which would be okay for it, but again, I do still question it, and the amount of garage doors we potentially might see in the future. So again, buy order is what I'm going to be sticking with. Cyber Mask and Cyber Chest, the Cyber Tier 3, I reckon that's going to probably do about 13 to 14,000 sales. Yeah, that seems about right. Might be a little bit less. We'll see. But yeah, I can imagine that'll be the final sales that these two will have. That being each, not like all together. Desert Beast, I kind of get the feeling that's going to only just about crack 10,000, which would be quite a considerable amount less compared to the Tier 3 armor. So that might be a little bit awkward if you still own Tier 3 armor. Keep an eye on that. But yeah, with the likes of the Bad News AR, I feel like that's also just about going to crack over 10,000 as well. The likes of this Skullforce SAR, that's going to probably do about 9 to 10,000 sales. And the SMGnana, I reckon, will probably only reach about 6 to 7,000 sales. So, yeah, we're not expecting a lot, especially compared to the past week, but it's very likely just going to be a week of doing buy orders. It is what it is. We look at these with a financial perspective, and sometimes some things might even be something we might not even want to approach. That actually happened to me with the recent abnormal buy orders. I looked at the skins and I thought, you know what? I kind of just don't want to go near it, actually. I looked at the skins and figured out some prices to offer, but with the likes of the skins from last week, so let's now start taking a look at last week's skins. And I looked at the this door and this furnace. I just thought to myself and went, do I even really want to put money down? Like, what am I chasing after? A few pennies profit, potentially, by doing a very low buy order, and I'm going to have to hold on to all of that. And if you knew about how many skins I'm currently holding, you'd probably understand that I'm kind of sick of holding cheaper skins, and it's not very enjoyable. So, yeah, just to give you a heads up, tomorrow, on my stream tomorrow, I'm actually going to open up my account again, as in make it public, and we're going to make a comparison to see how many skins I have left, and how many skins did I potentially sell over the course of the very beginning of November to now. So a good 3 or so months. And, yeah, did I even make that much good profit out of it? We'll find out. Oh, yes, we will. So that will be taking place, but looking at all of these other skins, Thundergold seems to be doing decently at retaining some of its value. Let's just go see the listings. How's that currently looking? And, oh, no. 564. However, do not forget, when you have the likes of a extension like me, I use Steam Inventory Helper, I can just show more orders, and there you go. So when you take a look at the likes of this, there's 200 there, there's 100 there. Okay, that's not doing it any help, that's not doing it any favours. But will they stick around? Would these stick around when we potentially see some hoodie and pants being produced and put on the workshop? Is this just trying to intimidate people to sell to the highest buy orders? Wouldn't you believe the possibility that the people who are doing this might have also got the highest buy orders here, and they're just tricking some scared people into giving up and unloading over to here, and, well, they're picking up even more? Because a lot of people are very optimistic we will be seeing some more Thundergold stuff soon. I mean, logically speaking, of course you'd expect that, wouldn't you? But, yeah, I wonder what might happen if we potentially see it appearing this weekend. Got to keep an eye on the workshop, don't we? Yes, indeed. So with what we see there, kind of not surprised. Like I said, with a brand new skin that's just come out and just become marketable, and if it's notable and probably sold quite decently, that's always expected to happen. You will see quite a significant amount of listings initially. It's a matter of, does it stay like this forever? Or do, slowly, little by bit by bit, little by little, do we see the quantities disappear? Yes, we do see the quantities slowly disappear, and they end up in the likes of third-party sites and whatnot. So, again, I would just kind of hold out and wait and see what happens next. Fingers crossed, we see more. So I'm looking forward to it. And then when you compare the kilt with the likes of the helmet and the vest, you know, the quantity is vastly different. There's only just over 100 quantity here. This is looking a whole lot more healthier based on, well, what we just saw a minute ago. Next to no listings, no resistance. That could easily rise up in price. But as you are well aware, loads of people usually focus the likes of the kilt when a new tier 2 armor appears. And same thing here, coffee can, look at that. It's, again, a lot more healthier. And there's hardly anything there. And, well, if we do see hoodie and pants, that'll get bought out pretty easily, wouldn't it? A brand new budget whiteout set, or rather, a full collection of the ever so nice, shiny looking, wonderful Thundergold collection. Let's respect it for what it is. It's its own thing. It's not a copy of another, right? So, awesome. That's something to be optimistic about, and that's doing a good job in retaining its value. Revolver over here, doing all right. Sap, not so much, unfortunately. So these other two skins we were half optimistic for. But I mean, I was actually fully in with the likes of the Revolver. I did buy 100 of them, and for some reason it won't load up. Don't worry, this is a Steam thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, no, he's doing all right. He's doing pretty good. He's retaining his value. He's doing ever so nicely. And don't forget, you might see a lot of quantity, but 152 of them are listed above $5. That's wishful thinking. I don't think it'll be going up in that price anytime soon. But the bars are very strong. Look at that. Whoop, all the way up to $2.46. Yep, no, that's good. This is expected to do a very good job in retaining its value. Again, retaining its value. Will it go up in price that much? Maybe eventually, but I don't imagine it's going to happen anytime soon. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. But, you know, in comparison, here we have the Chameleon Sap, and unfortunately, actually, no, it is slightly above its restore price still. It's fine, but it was expected to still go down in price a fair bit. What's kind of keeping it up is the fact that it's a Chameleon skin. People like the Chameleon collection, so not too hard to figure out. But yeah, will this ever slip below its restore price? It is to be expected. And you know what? I do expect it to maybe happen once or twice, like to this skin still. Easter is just around the corner, so you might not have noticed, but quite a lot of skins are going down in price at the moment. It is happening. It's been happening ever since like the middle of January, to be honest. But it's kind of really, really happening at the moment. So yeah, maybe it might not be even a time to consider selling. Maybe just at least wait it out until the February Force Wipe. Maybe things might change around then, with more people returning to play the game for the next Force Wipe. Maybe we might see some more sales. Maybe we might see some prices, have a bit of a rebound. We shall see. But that's just some nice advice for you currently listening to me at the moment. So yeah, those are doing okay. Let's now hop back over to here. I'm surprised to see the red armor container door still holding up. So let's get a quick look at the likes of that. And what do we see over to here? Here we are. Only 52 listed. And, well, what price did you sell for again? $1.49. Is this more of a case of people just simply aren't listing theirs at a cheap price? I kind of get the feeling that's the actual answer. Or did someone come in and walk in and buy out all the stock they could? Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But it did sell a lot, so why would you want to potentially manipulate something like that? I don't think so. I don't know. Well, let's see if it actually manages to retain its value. Give it another 2 weeks. Look at it again. If it's still in the green, props to it. But if not, then not too surprised. Scroll down. Boonie hat's retaining its value quite nicely. That door, unfortunately, already down in price. The AK already down in price. Gold or furnace. So when we looked at this on the, go back and look at my Rustle rotation video. When I looked at all the abnormals from the previous night, I made a comment about this. How initially nobody was listing this skin below like $10. Well, it looks like people eventually started to do that, but it's kind of the same thing. Nobody is wanting to list theirs below $3, but eventually someone does, and then they all follow. And then nobody wants to sell this below $2, and then eventually someone does, and they all follow, and then eventually it goes to a cheap price. Now, this didn't sell that much, but I just also thought, with the sheer lack of interest based in sales and my own sheer lack of interest, I don't want to go near it. And, well, at the moment, it's in the positive, but I still stand by my point that I don't think that's going to hold. So it's a bit goofy, but things like that have happened many times in the past. Just give it some time, and then, well, expectations usually, reach into reality. So, cool. That was the case of the previous week's skins. Let's just kind of quickly go through the week before that as well. And Awkward Cursed Collection didn't actually retain its value initially, all right? This is initially. All prices are going down at the moment. Don't be surprised to see the sight of this. Leave it until the summer to properly judge it, okay? I know it sucks if you bought some, but you got to wait it out. We're currently going through the next bad time, even though the recent good time wasn't even that good. I know, post-Christmas 2024 wasn't exactly super great, and I will be talking more about that tomorrow. I will be doing my final video talking about it. Oh, he's finally finished. Yes, I am. But yeah, every single skin here, except the Abyss Road Sun Gloves, ever so slightly, they're all in the negative. But this one right here, it's done a good job in retaining its value. Not too surprised, because it didn't really sell that much, especially compared to all the other armor pieces, the armor clothing pieces. So yeah, it's currently selling for $2. So props to that, props to that. And then we go over to January 4. How are the skins selling over here? And well, every single one of them is now in the negative. Yep. So that's not good, but I'm not too surprised. Surprised with this, but, you know, we didn't get the acceptances, so that's kind of not surprising now, but yeah, awkward, very awkward. So overall, skins kind of down bad at the moment. It is what it is, and as we get closer and closer to the likes of the upcoming Copenhagen Major, CS2 Major, that kicks off in the middle of March, but just a few days before that, we will be seeing a whole bunch of sticker capsules, autograph capsules, and souvenir packages and whatnot that will be dropping soon enough. Those will be all the new content added to Counter-Strike, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people liquidate their Rust skins. The prices will go even lower, and yeah, we're not going to see any recovery, maybe until the likes of the summertime. But with so many skins being listed in certain, skins on the Steam market, I can't help but feel like maybe a lot of them will probably end up disappearing on the likes of third-party sites, because, one way or another, people are going to try their best to get some sort of funds, and that actually might prove to be a bit of a benefit, because all that excess stock being pushed away out of Steam and onto the third-party sites will actually cause the prices on Steam to go up, and those third-party sites copy the prices that Steam says, so it kind of works out very nicely. Yeah, that is another little bit of optimism to look forward to. But yeah, we'll have to see how that eventually turns out. Festive Garland's actually doing a very good job in retaining its value and going above and beyond. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably jumped in and bought some of these. I was a little bit hesitant. I assumed that was going to go down in price pretty badly. Didn't, no. Just kind of held up immediately and did very good after that. And it's even started to pick up even higher today. So, wow. It did go down, but not as bad as last year, and that is quite surprising. So I will give it, some props there. Or maybe it goes down during the likes of when the Counter-Strike tournament takes place. Oh, well, it's something to keep an eye out for. But if you bought some, props to you. You've made some pretty good profit right there. Let's see what happens next. Or maybe just wait until, in the lead up to Christmas time and consider selling around then, because you're very likely going to be making a lot more profit if you do that. It just takes a lot of patience. A lot of patience, so cool. Right then, so we've basically talked about pretty much everything. The player count today on a Saturday, 125,000. That's okay, especially for the final week of the whole monthly cycle. And it looks like January 2024 only did just over 93,000 average players, which at the end of the day, very good, but we didn't beat last year, unfortunately. Did beat the player count, peak player count, but not the average player count. Maybe we might beat the average player count of last year's February, because we got backpacks coming out next week, and Force Wipe quite literally starts with February 1st. So that might be a great start to the month. We shall see. And do not forget to keep an eye on the likes of the commits, because new content will start being mentioned soon. As you should be well aware, we're getting some new Lunar New Year items being produced. We're getting a dragon launcher and a spear. Yeah, it looks like we're getting our first ever spear skin added to PC Rust. So that's going to be interesting to look forward to. Can't seem to find it at the current moment. Maybe if I keep scrolling down. Got dragon launcher there. That's cool. So it's quite lit. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's all here. Resize spear in entity to match others. Altered holster position to reduce hair clipping into body. Cool. So I guess these are going to be sold, or maybe sold as a pack or something. We shall see. But there is one thing I want to bring up. We don't actually know what's going to get picked with the next Rust store. Not the Force Wipe, but the week after that. It's confusing. So if you weren't fully well aware, and I had to bring up a calendar, during the same week, we'll have Lunar New Year, and then we'll have Valentines. So here we are. So not this next week, but it's the week after that. So for the second Rust store of the month, We will have Lunar New Year, Year of the Dragon, on Saturday the 10th, and then on the 14th will be Valentines. So are we going to have like a mishmash or a mix and match? I don't know. But the skin creators don't know either. Nobody knows, and we don't fully know what to expect. But I can give Arietta a bit of a shout out. They've released the first Valentine's themed skin, but Valentine's comes out after. Awkward, because they don't know if they have to release 2 skins. Because normally you'd have your Lunar New Year skins, and then you'd have your Valentine skins. But I'm sure you can understand the problem here. So, maybe we'll see some lovely pink things, or some lovely dragon things, or maybe both. Yes, everybody loves dragons and love hearts, and everybody loves animals. Ha 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 ha. Oh no, they might get mixed up and think some strange things might be produced for us. Oh no. We shall see. So anyway. With that, we're in a bit of an odd position. I'm optimistic that next week will be a very interesting batch of skins. Optimistic, but what will actually happen? Face Punch always decides. And it's not always a fun time, is it? So, will we see some interesting picks with it being Force Wipe next week, with the expectation of having many people play the game, wanted to see new content and jump into a fresh wipe? Will Face Punch put out some skins that are expected to sell very well that, a lot of us crave to see? Will we see the likes of Legacy Kevlar? Maybe we might see some other notable, interesting skins being submitted soon. As I said, you got to, at the very least, keep an eye on the workshop. And so with that, I'm all done. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. And I will be discussing how much I ended up selling out of all of these skins. It has not been fun. There's a lot of skins to sell, and I didn't sell them for the absolute best profits I was hoping for. So that's just a little teaser. I'm not looking forward to going through all of that, but it has to be done. So catch you later. See you. Goodbye.